up a seat at the bar to join us for another episode of McAnally's Pubcast, a podcast exploring the fun and fantastical mind of Jim Butcher's The Dresden Files series. Hosts Tanzan, Maggie, and me bring you another round of literary analysis on this immense, immersive, and colorful environment inhabited by Harry Dresden, the world's only licensed private investigator and professional wizard. Join an active and engaged community of new and die-hard dedicated fans focused on the fabulous themes, theories, characters, context, lore, and more. This is McAnally's Dresden Files Pubcast by Free Flow Rambling. Conjure by it at your own risk.
Welcome to the McAnally's Pubcast, brought to you by Free Flow Rambling. This is episode 12.19, The Renfields, where we are covering the novel Blood Rites. My name is Tanzan, and I'm joined by Maggie.
Hello.
And Jess.
An evil old house, the kind some people call haunted, is like an undiscovered country waiting to be explored.
Thank you to our Patreon subscribers for your generous support. It's people like you who help us to do what we do. If you're not yet a Patreon subscriber, sign up today and get a fuck ton of bonus content, Pubcast merch, behind-the-scenes outtakes, and more. Sign up today at www.patreon.com/freeflowrambling.
Chapter 27. Dresden drives to his apartment and considers the latest attack with the curse. When back home, Bob provides Harry with the information of where Mavra is hiding out. Ebenezer McCoy picks up Harry and agrees to be part of the Black Court hit crew.
That last chapter or two started out so promising. Harry's like, I figured out a big part of the puzzle. I'm going to set up a net to catch it. It's all going to go so well. And it all went so very, very wrong. Very wrong. Very, very wrong. Very bad. Ugh. So his good day is going down the toilet. And now he's running. But he hears the fire alarm. And this is actually, he's like, bless you, Joan. Because this is going to take some while. CPD, fire department, they're all going to show up and figure out what's going on and deal with some wounds and take some
Back
vitamins
everything.
and
Go through room to room.
he's like, I can walk to Havana. Which is probably just as well, because we know how powerful his little beetle is. So yes, he figures she's actually bought him some time with this, that by the time, everything all converges and figures out what's going on, it's going to be a while before anybody knows about him, starts looking for him, whatever.
Harry realizes the last attack of the curse is different. Like, it's a very focused attack, and it is way stronger.
Yeah.
And despite what Trixie said, she clearly wasn't casting magic. They were in the room together, so clearly she didn't do shit.
Yes, despite her exactly. He's thinking about all of these ones that have gone down, right? So he's like, the deaths, near deaths, new depths to the term freak accident, right? Swarms of bees, bridge jumping cars, electrocution in a puddle of one's own blood, not to mention the cartoonish turkey. This, though, so much more cut and dried, so much more clean, like, shot to the head, shot to the heart.
Shot to the heart!
And he's potentially to blame. And we already know that poor Harry is giving love a bad name, so really...
Essentially, he works out that there's got to be, at minimum, 3 conspirators, because that's just the magic number in order to keep somebody focusing the spell and supplying the spell and directing the spell.
But sure, I trust you, Harry. You've been to magic school. You know a lot. But you know what? This also harkens back to book 1, where we were first looking at a dead hooker and a thug, and you're like, well, there's probably like 12 women. Because women are just better at this, and 12 is a great number for running like a sacrificial ritual, and it was not 12 women at all. It was one dude.
With a storm.
So...
It's a hurricane named after 12 women.
Again. I was like, maybe, Harry. I mean, again, you've been progressing, you've been upping your game, you've been refining your talent, honing your skills, but... Forgive me if I'm not 100.
Now.
And until I get those 3 women lined up in front of me and they confess to it, I'm still a little...
Well, and then he's like, but Trixie wasn't even there, so there's got to be a 4th person instead.
See, right
He instantly ruined
that. So, yes, Occam's razor and all that, lowest common denominator, all good things. But life being what it is and Harry's life being what it is, they always have to throw in an extra wrench. Those 3 people could maybe actually be 5. But probably sort of. We'll start with that because it kind of makes sense and it gives me a place to go off.
No, 13's a good number. Why not that?
Why not 13?
Oh.
It's 13 minutes before midnight for the spell, or before noon.
Yeah, I'm sure he gives us like a reason in the first book for
Yeah,
why
13.
13
It
throws
dispels magic.
Well, yeah, because we talked about the
heavily
whole thing,
believed in.
but
There's
like
a lot
you
of
say,
superstition
for where
on
it
it,
works
so
and
it
where
just
it doesn't.
has created its own kind of power.
13 is its own mantle.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah. Yeah.
It's come its own thing.
Faith magic. It's just the more you believe in it, the more it is.
So he gets home eventually, no speeding, because that would be a problem if he gets pulled over. We're looking for a man who looks exactly like you, and you are speeding now. What's up,
away
man?
from the sight of.
And Mr. AKA Bob has been waiting for him because he comes dashing out as soon as Harry arrives, like, where you been, bitch? You said you'd meet me here this morning.
That poor cat is so overworked. Telling you, he deserves a steak.
No kidding.
Right.
He just runs in and collapses, goes to sleep.
Well, we were saying this last time. It was like, while he might like going out, we know cats are supposed to sleep for like this. So the fact that he already sent him out all day, all night, whichever, and now immediately like, this is a big day for Mr.
Mr. works for his bread, okay?
Right?
And his cans of Cokes, and his deserved steaks, and his ravioli bites.
This is either where Harry gets like his petty vengeance for like Mr. trying to kill him every time he greets him or this is where Mr. is deserved in those mild attempts to knock him off because occasionally, I'm not quite sure which came first, which is the chicken, which is the egg, but starting to see
they deserve each other.
why Mr.'s friendly ram up against your knees is also like one of these days.
Okay, Bob, what did you find? Tell us. You know everything. If you don't know everything, Harry's gonna smash your skull in, so you better learn something.
Yes, Bob has found that Mavra's scourge is at Cabrini Green. And every time I hear Cabrini Green, I think of Candyman.
I have no connection to that because I have not seen that movie.
It's wonderful. And it's got a great soundtrack.
Is that a place in it, Cabrini Green?
Yeah, it's actually a real place.
Yeah, I just didn't.
Why do you think of a Candyman?
The whole thing is based in Cabrini Green.
Okay.
That's the whole...
Right,
Okay.
that's it. Sunnydale, it's Chicago, it whatever, yeah, okay. That's fair then.
Yeah. Sounds like a really good place for them to hold up.
Cabrini Green reminds me of something else, but that's for a later time.
It's a really rundown location.
That
Cabrini Green.
is
Essentially, it's a homeless shelter in downtown Chicago.
Yeah. But is the Candyman sent in Chicago as well, or is it a different Cabrini Green?
Oh, it's the same one.
Okay, that's what I wasn't sure as well. So okay, yes, so it is. Yes.
In fact, they even went to when they were filming, they actually went to Cabrini Green to actually film in it and hired local gang members to keep them safe.
Nice.
Wow.
I like that. I mean, hey, right? Hire local.
So if you want to know where they're at this episode, go watch the Candyman.
Hey, wait, isn't that Johnny Four Fingers over there? No. So finds out that, yes, the vampires have inhabited homeless shelter.
Which in downtown Chicago, that's not hidden. That's heart of the city.
Hiding in plain sight,
Well, yeah.
though. Exactly, right? You've got all these
They're in the basement.
transients, right? You've got transients. You've got people that no one's really going to miss. No one's really going to look for. Nobody
Not a lot of police
wants to know
presence.
too much about them or not. Like, yeah, exactly. It's very much that needle in a pile of needles.
So they've turned a couple into thralls. They've got a couple being held hostage and tied up in the basement. They've got a couple Renfields going on.
And some dark hounds.
Right?
So, I mean, as far as like a home base goes, it's pretty covered. They've got access to the underworld through the basement, so they don't even have to come out in the daytime. I mean,
To the underworld or just like
Undertown.
Okay. Yeah, I was like, I know there was like a portal of Hades under there too. I was like, Percy Jackson never went through that one.
Bob educates Harry on Renfields. And it also turns out, we also find out that the White Court had commissioned Bram Stoker to write Dracula. Like, what backbiting between courts, right? Like,
Right? So very White Court to do it that way.
Right?
But yeah, where he's even just like Renfield, he's like, again, Bob's just discussed with him, like, how in the world can you exist in this century and not know about Renfields, Bob? And he's like, you need a life. And he's like, I read the book, I know what they are, I just don't know he's like, I'm just not familiar with the parlance for Renfield in the plural.
See, like in the book though, the Renfield, who
Was that
original
guy.
character he was named for, he had moments where he broke from being Renfield and was like, would have a moment of compassion. He'd be like, wait, you gotta go save the grass. Yeah. I'm a villain again. But he had a couple moments before Dracula eventually just snapped his neck because he was like, you're not loyal enough to me, bitch. But
Did they have the perfect mind control over him? I can't keep
he was
you.
still working on the mind control back then or something. I don't know. But
Yeah.
it seems in this one that the Renfields are basically already dead because once they snap their mind and turn them into that Renfield, that's it. There's no saving them. There's no mind melding after that. Yeah.
So, exactly, maybe that was the thing. It was like, the first prototype we left, so now we just need
Wasn't
to...
strong enough. They
We need to
fully
just
break them
completely
now.
demolish them, or there's a chance that they'll... Yeah, or again, simply the centuries of, no, it's... But yeah, they don't get that option at all. So they're right there at the rough thralls and then the Renfields. So Harry, again, is getting a bit more... Like you say, for all the research he's done and for all that he seems to know, these finer details, which obviously are for our benefit, but at the same time, so you just have kind of a thrall, but they're just where they're more like, I guess, the original Renfield, where they're not completely, and then you have the Renfields, which are actually not the Renfields at all, because they're completely done.
Totally overdone, yeah.
Sort of like zombies, but they still have to go to the bathroom. Mm-hmm. Oh, and he even brings up what Dumorn did to Elaine and the whole about enthralling and mind kept, yeah.
Right, like what Dumorn did to Elaine. I guess so, yeah, like that. That's how I read it in my head, where I was like, Bob doesn't really think she was in fault at all.
Oh, see, I know, because Marshall reads it differently. He's like, I guess so, yeah, like that. So, yeah, all depends, right, on the tone you get in your head.
That's probably my bias from, like, you say how much you love Elaine, and now I'm like...
Elaine was just weak.
He does say, though, it takes an amount of empathy in order to do what Dumorn did to Elaine, which is just gross. Like, have these kids adopted for like a decade or, well, not quite, it's been like 6 years, but break them down. He was adopted when he was 10.
Manipulation, yeah.
Totally. But on top of that, the whole Bob being like, oh yeah, no, I know my shit. Dumorn did a lot of research about it. It's like, oh, I hate that even more.
Yeah. When you stop to remember.
Obviously, it's not Bob's fault that he worked for the bad guys before he worked for Dresden, but every now and again, you're reminded of that fact, and you're like, oh yeah, right.
Well, yeah, you
You're just assistant to
would have
whoever.
been the one. That,
You're a Renfield, Bob.
yeah.
And we already know he has questionable values, where he's like, fuck, kill them all.
Yeah,
Well, he doesn't have values. That's the point. Is he's like, this whole spirit of error.
Be a
where
lot
he's like,
easier. Just kill him.
Human morality doesn't enter into it for Bob. He doesn't understand it at all or care. So it's like, sure, if you tell me to have it, I'll have it. But the other guy tells me I don't need it, then I don't care. And exactly right. And as much as we, again, going back to the whole thing of adopting the personality you're with, you're like, you forget sometimes that Bob can be just a scuzzy little rat. Mm-hmm. It's just because Harry's so wonderful, but Bob gets to be so wonderful. So yeah, moving on from that. Not a lot you can do about it. Not a lot you can save. Some of them you might kind of, sort of. Most of them we won't be able to. And that's just a fact we're going to have to live with to get to the vampires. And the vampires have already broken them and killed them. And, you just have to remember that part. They're not people anymore. So, and then we got Dark Hands.
But this is another question for me. If they're not people anymore, and Bob is saying to you they're not people anymore, you cannot help them, but the White Court will still acknowledge them as people, so where's their sources? Either
the White Court or the White Council?
Council.
Yeah.
Fuck.
I know.
Stupid.
I know, right?
Oh, Jim Butcher, you make us difficult. So the Right Council will still count them as people to use against Harry, even if it's their own information that's like, you can't even say them. Merlin couldn't even say them. It wasn't like, for all intents and purposes, but you still can't kill them, and so they can be used as meat shields.
It is, but I don't know if you want to get as real life as this, but I mean, I think that's the argument that a lot of people, make for various whatever, euthanasia or whatever,
and all that sort of
and conservationships and things like that, is exactly, it's like, it's still like, and again, and
one is a person, not a person anymore. We're not allowed to say when they're not able to think or chew or do
exactly,
anything.
right? So we know that there are people like in comas and vegetative states and severe brain damage that are not a person in the classical sense, that they can't do all the things that a person should be able to do. But again, is it anybody's choice? So I mean, I feel like the council would definitely play that more when it's convenient for them. But like I say, right, and I mean, as we'll see in a bit with Murphy and stuff like that too, right? It's like, you might not, but again, it's not their fault. You just keep them safe and happy and as pain-free as possible? Or do you just be like, whatever, they got mauled? You know, I mean, like Malone, like he got severely mauled by, you just be like, stick him in the ground, he's better off. You know, there's no help, he's not coming back from that. But yeah, all of them touchy morality issues, really.
Yeah, some gray
debates.
Very big gray areas.
So it's easy. You want to get around the dark hounds, no problem. You just have to be invisible, inaudible, unsmellable. You know?
There is no sneak attack here. It is not happening.
Yeah, between the vamp senses and the dark hound senses and the whole, it's just bad.
I sort of visualize the hounds from Resident Evil, but with more skin.
I was just going to say, I feel like this is a video game reference coming. Yeah, although I'm vaguely familiar with Resident Evil, and I feel like I agree with you kind of on that one, that, yeah.
Because they're like
monster
insane
hound thingies.
So that seems like a problem Harry can't solve right now.
Well, and to top it off, they're just gonna have a few extra weapons and stuff too, aside from the supernatural.
They've also got machine guns and armor.
Baseball bats, assault rifles, grenades.
I do like the part before that, though. What kind of weapons are they toting? Teeth? Mostly teeth, Harry.
Not the dogs.
I don't know if he's
Thanks,
just
Bob.
like he's being that like dry humor, like, or if it's like just really literal in it.
Bob also hasn't slept in a while.
Right.
Yeah. It works either way with Harry. He's like, sometimes I think he really does think Harry's being that obtuse. Other times he's totally going with the dry humor.
So we move on to the whole ritual thing. What do you know about that, Bob? And essentially, Bob is like, well, basically anyone who's, deranged enough could be helping to sponsor a ritual. If you've got the time and the power on your hands and you were willing to be paid off for it, you can just go do it. But the White Council is attempting to, stop letting these names out in the world so people don't know about them and can't just call on them whenever they feel like it. However, throws out the fact that bloodlines sure does help support some spells of bigger and bigger, rougher nature.
Yeah, something that lasts maybe, 20 or 30 years.
Well, so potentially, if Harry's mother wants to set a curse and make sure it lasts as long as, one or two of her sons are still alive in order to, support the curse. So, Thomas and Harry have been unknowingly lending life support to this curse this whole time. How much more powerful are either of them without having to fund Mommy's curse their whole lives?
Siphon off a little bit of... Well, I don't know. I mean, Thomas was already destined to be a vampire, so he's got all kinds of extra supernatural strength, and we don't know a lot of what Mom knew about, because, again, died in childbirth. She didn't get a chance to meet or greet and be like, wow, I just gave birth to a super powerful wizard or anything like that, right? There's the vaguest hints now, again, of knowing, her background, knowing how things were set up, and, she set this up so that they could potentially meet at some point, Did she either intuit from, when she was due and things, or did she know, did she channel a bunch of her energy into that baby because she needed,
some way, somehow, I feel that Margaret Le Fay knew that Harry was going to give birth to a powerful being. And the reason that I have that belief is because I don't think it was an accident that he was a star-born baby. I think she planned that delivery quite systematically.
Yeah, this is a lot of right, exactly. Did she know? Did she have? I mean, and again, we've had very few hints at that.
I'm going to give birth on Valentine's and on Halloween, okay? The woman's in charge of her shit.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
So about uterine control.
Yeah, right?
Remember your Kegel, folks. But,
You just got the worst visual of her being like, there goes the baby.
that is a terrible.
That's why she died in childbirth.
Worked the first time. Second time was a little tricky.
So, maybe she didn't feel bad.
Epidural of the vampiric kind during that first one.
Oh, right. But yeah, she knew they were going to have tons of,
power,
mojo to spare. This is nothing. I don't know. Maybe it's like an exponential thing. It only had to be a very little bit, and it just keeps growing on itself, so they still only have to produce a very tiny bit. I don't know.
I like it if it was just 1% of whatever they are. So when they were babies and children, it was barely anything at all. And now the more and more they get powerful, it's the 1% is
boom, all of a sudden these last 5 years have just been what the fuck?
Yeah, Wraith is not doing okay at all. He's struggling.
But I like how Harry's he's like, oh, there are times you can, or Bob is he's like, there are times you can anchor it to a person. Harry's like, that's not doable. For you, it's not doable. I'm like, fuck, we're back to one of these? What?
It's not fair.
You can do that? What?
There's this moment in Vox Machina when they make these amulets that are like a heartbeat for all the members. And if one of the members dies, they'll all start going off. Like, dude, it doesn't tell you which member is down, but they just all start.
Somebody is down.
Someone is down.
So Harry grabs his bag and then hears his wizard staff twitching away. He picks the staff up and beats out a rhythm into it. I'm like, oh, wizard telegraphing. Fun.
Right?
Get some sleep. I gotta clear out before the cops get here. I would be so afraid to leave my house every day because anything that they think could be used as evidence is like, yes, I do have depleted uranium in my basement, but that has nothing to do with any crimes.
Yeah, right.
Just the bleached real life human skull. Just leave it over there. It's fine.
Graveyard dirt. Whatever, it's okay.
Also, reading Bones and her all the time being like, but where's the skull? We found everything else. I always wonder. It's like, who came across the body and is like, who the fuck is walking around with the skull? Just some museum somewhere. It's like the headless horseman.
This cold case.
Yeah, that we've never known where the head of this thing is until we once invaded a wizard's house.
Right. Lots of wizards' houses.
But they carved all these things into its skull.
Crazy people. Crazy satanic psychopaths.
All right, I have to ask this again, too. Harry feeds the cat and heads out, but where's the dog again? Like,
Still in his pocket.
Yep.
is it?
Yeah, you're right. It's because he didn't leave it at the Rites.
He gathered his coat and his bag after.
Just been sleeping in the car the whole time?
Right.
When he ran it.
So then the dog went to the Wraith's place.
Yeah.
And then from the Wraith's place, he went to breakfast with Murphy
Yeah,
and Kincaid.
yeah.
And then he went to
The thing.
the thing with the place, and then Trixie shot him, and he looks like a. So yeah, the dog must be in the car or the pocket. We have not mentioned him in a while.
He did this, like, tackle on Trixie with the dog. And
Yes, I guess so.
Yeah, because he...
That's a good point.
Well, I think he must have stopped to grab it because he's got his also, again, I don't remember specifically, he must have grabbed his backpack when he was running away from the scene of the crime and all of that. So, because he definitely doesn't leave it with Murphy because Murphy goes off to go to work and her picnic reunion and stuff like that. Kincaid definitely...
Yeah, I mean, the dog is just on him, okay?
Yeah.
okay. I'm going to pay attention to the next time the dog is mentioned.
Yeah, it's a good. Yeah, I don't think it's for a while, actually.
What dog?
That is very, I'd have to, because you're right, that has not been the focus of my attention on the last bit, so, yeah, I no longer recall exactly where, because I don't remember him leaving. I mean, he could have left him at the studio.
So, from in the ebook, the last time it mentions Puppy is chapter 23, when Anaria is holding him, and the next time it's mentioned is chapter 34.
Oh.
But that's just for Puppy? Did you also do dog?
That's just for Puppy. Okay, so after 23 we're just talking about the Hellhound dogs, not the puppy dogs.
Hey, hellhound dogs are puppies too.
Well, no. Yeah, we're still just talking about the Hellhound Mavra's dogs, not
Gotcha.
the puppy.
Well, I guess
He's just in his pocket.
You know, those are really big pockets.
He's in his pocket dimension.
He's right. He's getting really used to just staying in there and dozing. I mean, honestly, like we talk about cats, but dogs will sleep a lot of the day too if they don't have anything else to do. So, and he's a puppy. He's growing. He's expended a lot of energy growling at vampires. So,
Yeah.
he's having a real big...
He's a lot smarter than Dresden. He's like, this is bigger than me right now. I'm going to check out.
You know what? It seems like everybody's forgot about me. I'm just going to stay here. Be quiet.
You guys don't need me for this, right?
I don't like the smell of that Trixie bitch. She's there.
No.
I'm just...
So Ebenezer McCoy has arrived with his fancy, fancy truck. McCoy confirms they were using Morse code through their staffs, based on his Morse code.
It's a little rusty.
Right? Well, I bet receiving a drunk text from, like, Dresden based on his Morse code would just be awful. You'd be like, what?
You don't know Latin. You don't know
I was
Morse
just
code.
going to say, I was like, is it as good as his Latin? My laundress, I need me a new laundress. My day was long and weird,
These weird emoji. Like, what? What does that mean?
So, yeah, and I love it's just, because it's, like, off to the side, isn't it? And, like, his, like, umbrella stand or something, and just starts doing on its own. Like, Jesus, that would freak you out,
Did you work out what the Morse code means?
No.
I was like, does it say stamp, stamp, stamp or something for us to translate?
No, I don't think it does.
Okay.
There was a rattling from the dim corner by the door. I paused a moment later. My wizard staff twitched, rattling again. It shuddered and twitched, thumping against the wall and the floor in staccato fits. Too much rhythm to the sounds for them to be meaningless. So no, he does not give us a dot, dash, dot, dash, dot, dot, dot. He just eventually goes and thumps back.
Boring.
Hey there, Haas. You look like 10 miles of bad cliches. Yeah. Ebenezer's back, and I guess we haven't seen him in, like, a book.
It was exciting. It was like, oh, that's who the mystery driver is. Yay!
Yeah, you said you had someone else coming.
And it's really convenient.
As we know, Missouri is now like 30 minutes outside of Chicago, so he's like,
Not
yeah,
that
sure,
different.
I'll come. Yeah, I'll pop over. I'll be your driver.
Comes to deliver Harry a vehicle that the police are not aware of. Let's drive away in this thing.
Convenient.
Yeah, not your wacky beetle that they all know on site anyways, let alone the fact that Harry is implicated in a crime every other week. I see, consultant,
They just have a
suspect,
permanent
consultant,
APB
suspect,
on the beetle.
right?
It's these two cars are such an indication
like
of
an
who
open-
Ebenezer and Harry are too.
Right.
One car that gets beat to shit, Harry can barely keep driving, and another vehicle that's been in the exact same condition for 200 years.
Right? Like the original pickup truck,
Yeah.
and then the car that has so many replacement parts, we don't know if there's any part of the original car left, you know?
Like-
yeah, exactly.
Totally Thesis's Blue Beetle.
Theses?
Yeah.
Theses?
Thesis.
Theses? I don't know, the dude with the ship.
The Thesis. The dude with the ship.
Theseus?
Theseus? Yeah. Ship
no.
of Thesis.
Yeah, I don't know.
These eyes?
These eyes Blue Beetle. What up, Ebbs? Just found out where we're heading to not 30 seconds ago. Thank God you weren't early.
Oh yeah, that's what he makes the joke about. The only thing we find out about the Morse code is he's like, it's Rusty's like, on my staff it sounded like you spelled it vampires. And he's like, I did. Black Court vampires. I just shortened it. Lampire? That's the problem with you young people, shortening all the words.
See? And a drunk text would be so much worse.
TBH, I totally know what he's talking about though.
This is rapidly going foobar. We gotta go.
I know. Well then, I'm glad you took the time to RSVP me. I have a problem that needs to stay on the QT, but it's rapidly going foobar. I'm sorry to call you LD through AT&T instead of using UPS, but I need your help ASAP. I hope that's okay. At which point you think Ebenezer would have just slugged him. Because
Yeah, no
Ebenezer just
kidding.
would.
I'm leaving.
Like, he doesn't even need to Gibbs slap him. He would just, like, punch him in the jaw and be like, you want to, what was that again?
So I like in the conversation that follows this moment is Ebenezer showed up literally knowing nothing about what Harry wanted. Harry was straight up just like, I need wheels, desperately, be here tomorrow.
Nobody knows nothing about this. I mean, for his short and simple plan of find them, kill them, at the same time,
We're fighting vampires. Bring the fighting vampire equipment.
I've got a driver. He hasn't consented yet, but I've got one.
Like, insane.
right? Oh yeah, he doesn't have to fight them. He just has to drive.
And even Ebenezer, I could understand to a point. Ebenezer will not turn me down. He hates vampires so much.
Yeah.
We know we've got a bit of a reasoning now to understand why. No, we don't.
No, we
don't
don't.
know that. Never mind.
Well,
Delete that.
She knows Mavra killed a friend of his in the Venatori once. So, I mean, there's
That's a bit more.
vaguely
So we
personal
know a little
connection.
bit. He's got some issues.
We've got vague stuff, like because this is the first time is that Bob mentions a Venatori, and that's the second time with
Ebenezer.
Ebenezer, and we're like, what who?
So there's some issues here, and
Side story Bob or side story Thomas.
We're gonna get more lore.
obviously we've got Ebenezer will do anything for Harry. He's his mentor, and I love you, and
I
like you
saved
can
this-
come
he
rely
doesn't
on me.
love him. He's just this annoying kid. But
Right.
since he got stuck and saved him, he's not going to let his investment just go down the drain.
But yeah, there's certain favors that you're supposed to provide more details than others. Okay.
Well, I'm like, even the whole thing with like Kincaid and Murphy and stuff like that. Like, even just how this, like, I know he's sort of been saying to Murphy, like, hey, there's this thing. As soon as we find him, we're going to go get them. But at the same time, how it's literally like, oh, I just found him, and like, you know what I mean? It's just like, there isn't even like I don't know. The whole thing is just one, Ebenezer showing up exactly at the moment where he happened to finally identify where they are. Not like yesterday afternoon where he would have been like, hey, hang out on my couch for a while. I got to go to a porn set, like just exactly.
And
then-
Ebenezer or not, I wouldn't want to let any other wizard into my wizard chambers. I'm like, there's way too much shit for you to go find, okay? I don't want you to know what the hell I'm up to.
Well, yeah, not while I'm not at home.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, can you go hang out at like Starbucks or something?
You're coming
where
to the
I'm at
porn
work
studio
all
with
day?
me.
That's right, I am. Yes, this is old. Although, actually, in this case, it would have worked because he probably could have used Ebenezer's
Would have
help at the
helped out a
porn
lot.
studio.
Yeah.
But is this bring your dad to work day? Just find the whole thing. But like, I understand that the nature of it does have to be very on the spot and let's go, but it's also so very on the spot and let's go that I'm like, I would be very frazzled about this whole thing. I would be like, wait, I didn't get
That sounds like anxiety to me.
Yeah, yeah. I'd be like, I know I'm not prepared to go anywhere, and I live off, like, too much routine isn't good either, but this would also have me, like, yeah, running around my house like a chicken with my head cut off, being like, I should get my steaks. No, wait, I should also, oh, no, wait, I have my, yeah. I just, I feel like they all just get up and go very
Okay, let's whatever.
For how much no notice, no prep, no nothing they get. So, whatever. Yeah, off they go.
It takes it in stride.
Takes it in stride, so, yeah. Well, okay, so Mavra, yeah, that's what this is about. She's gunning for me. He's like, that sucks. She's like, not great. He's like, no, not really. Okay, well, yeah, let's go give this a whirl. Are you sure?
And then apparently Mavra's gonna also get a death curse.
Yeah.
That's not fair.
Shit.
As Harry says, she's already dead.
Like, wait, what?
His initial planning of, like, the sneak attack and just,
Yeah, she might be wizard enough.
This is what happens when you make a plan.
we're just gonna pick this apart and, like...
Yeah. And everyone's
Make
still
it
on
a
board.
no-win.
No, Kincaid didn't back out. Murphy didn't back out. Ebenezer's not backing out. It's just all three of them are like, you haven't thought about this, this, or this. And he's like, I said hit them fast, hit them hard. Why do you keep asking me more than that?
Because they're also really fast and can hit harder. So this is the problem we're having.
Plan?
Right? It's
I just want to kill
you know
them.
what?
Why are you making it so hard?
If we don't know what we're doing, they can't guess what we're doing, right? This is how that works.
That is a plan, actually. Okay.
Yeah, right? You can't read my mind if there's no mind to read.
There's these young adult books, Enola Holmes. If you've seen the movie, it's super cute. I started reading the books, and they're cute as fuck. They're really cute. Honestly, it's just like sibling antics, and I love it so much. And yeah, Enola's whole plan is like, well, Sherlock is like the greatest detective in the world, so if I just do everything without even thinking about it, how can he even think about what I'm thinking about?
Exactly. He'll never
cannot predict my next move if I don't know my next move.
Right. And he says, like, who else is coming along for this? And he's like, oh, we've got Murphy. And he's like, the police girl. He's like, don't call her a girl, But again, right, this is that identifying, line of, like, Ebenezer's demographic. Like, yeah, like the police girl, like, what? Yes, yeah, girls are policemen now. and and don't call her a girl. And... like
you're embarrassed to like
a little bit, like you can't say that anymore. And
what is he gonna say that?
Right? Yeah. I mean, like he's not quite that bad, but he also is.
It's okay. If Murphy can handle Kincaid, Murphy can handle Ebenezer. If Murphy can handle Dresden,
right?
So where are we going? A picnic. I owe a friend a crashed party.
This concludes our episode 12.19, The Renfields. Thank you for listening. You can find us online at freeflowrambling.com and McAnallys.ca. There we have links to our other podcasts, social media, and other fun tidbits. Please subscribe if you like what you're hearing. Please consider supporting us through Patreon to keep the magic alive and to see more content. We are Free Flow Rambling. Conjure by it at your own risk.